No, we are very, no. President Trump has not ruled out boots on the ground in Iran. Are you afraid of a U.S. invasion in your country? No, we are waiting for them. You are waiting for the U.S. military to invade the ground troops? Yes, because we are confident that we can confront them, and that would be a big disaster for them. President.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how gangster they are for saying that shit. I'm telling you, that's some gangster shit to say. That's some warrior type shit to say, yo. And they know that Persia has a clear cut advantage when it boils down to it. All right, first of all, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and a few sisters out there. Unto those like foreigners. We're going to see that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. And there's no peace, save the Lord unto the wicked. So the foreign minister, he's not poking his chest. He's not boasting and bragging. He just said, we want them to come. So you got the invite. This is why the CIA, I was watching something else. Every day, this is like an adventure. But Iran attacked the CIA, I believe, in Israel or somewhere. So in return, the CIA, which is Central Intelligence Agency, told public news that they were going to enforce, basically hire the Kurds, which always had a problem with Iran anyway. And I was listening to something that was telling like the quick brief history with the Kurds and how they're not really they're not really a nation, it's just a bunch of clans, and it's not a good thing because they always get the short end of the stick anyway. So they could just turn coat as well. But for him to say this, I must admit, when Iran say certain things, sorry, I'm gonna call them what they truly are. When Persia say certain things, there's power and validity behind it. They're not really that deceptive. Just the way they approach the whole matter. When the top generals was being attacked, it was held by restraint, by their word. When they were from when 12-day war took place, what did they do? They told them, look, we're about to strike you. We're gonna make your life miserable. So like they talking shit and backing it up, which is really unheard of. While on the flip side, America and the Mossad, they gotta deceive everybody. And this is why, let me see if I can get it. Since I'm in his brother's channel, his brother always put up some good stuff. You need to do a show, bros. There's always resources, man. Here it is. It says Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, and Qatar discuss withdrawing from contracts with the U.S. Financial Times. They want to cancel future investments commitments in the U.S. to elevate some of their economic strain imposed upon them by the Iranian war. So the same nations that was being bombed by Iran, they're like, yo, we don't want no part of America. So you would think the way that the media was telling us, oh, Iran is attacking all these nations and they gonna get their armies to fight at Iran. So now Iran look like they're the only ones. Their attitude is like, look, we'll take on anybody. That's gangster. You know, that's really that's some real ish right there. But here's the one I wanted to get. It says Qatar declared it would not permit the U.S. use the airspace for strikes against Iran. Now, actually, that wasn't the one I was looking for. The one I was looking for is, which everybody should know by now. Oh, this is one of them. But the other one was on the tube. But basically, that Israel Mossad agents that got caught out in these places, when mainly Saudi Arabia, trying to set up bombs so they could blame it on Iran. They said that even there's some videos circulating too that the bombs that was coming that hit whatchamacallit, Slovakia. The bombs that hit that town that in Saudi Arabia, not the town in Saudi Arabia, the time at Saudi Arabia was was basically saying that the missiles was coming from and hit Israel. So they already know Israel is the one to initiate all this shit that's going on, and everybody knows it. I believe this is the video. Slakia.
Iranian state media shares. Iran did not attack the Ras Tanura oil refinery in Saudi Arabia. It was Israel. Tasnim news agency reports the attack on the Saudi Aramco refinery was carried out by Israel, and Iran did not strike any oil facilities in Saudi Arabia. Tucker Carlson says Saudi Arabia and Qatar caught and arrested Israeli Mossad agents planning bombings in those countries. Last night, in Qatar and Saudi Arabia, authorities arrested Mossad agents planning on committing bombings in those countries. Now, that's weird. That doesn't make any sense. Why would the Israelis be committing bombings in two Gulf countries, which are also being attacked by Iran? Aren't they on the same side? No. No. Israel wants to hurt Iran and Qatar and UAE and Saudi and Bahrain and Oman and Kuwait.
Hey, that's what the scripture says. I'm gonna get it real quick. Jeremiah. I get the one in Jeremiah. Jeremiah 49 and 20. Was it 22? It says 20. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord that he have taken against Edom, and his purposes that he have purposed against inhabitants of Teman. Surely at least the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. So the drawing it out, which we all know, is America being dragged out into that war. And that war that America is being dragged into, which is right now, it's live and direct, Israel's causing all those fucking problems, even tried to align those Gulf nations. And everybody realizing how dirty and filthy and wicked they are when it comes down to it, and how you can't deal with these people lightly. Okay? This is why the scripture says in Obadiah now, 1 and I'm sorry. 2, it says, Behold, I made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. This is why they greatly despise. Yahweh Shem Yahushai is showing the world who the devil is. These nations are itching to get their hands on them. This war is not going to be a ordinary war, which we all know this is World War III. And if there are boots, American boots on the ground, they are going to get slaughtered. All right? They are going to get slaughtered out there. Remember, each battle, each whoever starts it usually loses. Why? Because this thing is this is a buildup that's been going on for forever. Now, throughout history, America could start something and they'll end up finishing it, but they never they expecting bite back. But this is like the last straw that broke the camel's back. All right. Yes, America did attack Iraq and took over and so forth. So chance, was it scripture says chance, damn, chance and purpose to everybody under the sun. So that was the time of the buildup. Now we seeing the demise. On here in the front, and on the flip side, we could see the decline right before our eyes. The world could see the decline right before our eyes. This is not a time of America's going to do whatever it feels like, because they one of the guy, it was a professor. I forget. He's supposed to be, I guess, Moab, and he was basically saying the decline of America. And when he was saying that the decline of America, he said the same thing that we've all been saying throughout these years: the decline of an empire. All right, this is the decline of an empire. Everything has a limit, and Esau think that his limit goes beyond what the Lord told him to be. Job 5:14 and 5, it says, seeing that his days are determined, the number of his month are with thee. So the days of whom determined? Esau. All right. And the Edomites that run Babylon, which is synonymous with modern day Babylon, Psalms 137 tells you that. Call him the king of Babylon. Well, their time is running out. Now that the word which we've been saying is going to happen, expect the T attack. All right. There's going to be a countless of individual young men and young women that are going to get drafted. All right. And when you get drafted, you have a race of people that are waiting for you. All right. So it's like, it's like they're saying, we accept the challenge because now we're going to let loose on you. So they're going to have to bring out their super soldiers. They're going to have to do, but they're not going to do that. They're going to wait till down the line to do that. That's why this man made a statement about there should be many sacrifices, or something to that extent. That speech that he did Saturday, because that's just a part of war. So he's willing to, if the U.S. Abraham Lincoln supposedly got hit, the destroyer got hit. So when you hear the carrier sink or some shit like that, and thousands of sailors, I looked it up. It was like a whole 54,000 sailors. If that number that happens, they're gonna go harder. This is why he's saying Trump, the bigger wave is coming. And like I said, Iran has a way of doing things, and you gotta kind of admit, like, it's kind of ill. It's like they're not deceiving you; they're just kind of telling you, like, they're kind of narrating. You could tell, like, they have that ancient world spirit type shit. Like, yeah, he said, we're holding back our good stuff, and they're saying basically the stuff that they shooting at them is a cheaper version. The good stuff that they have, it's crazy how it is. The good stuff that they have, they don't even know what they got. So if you get hit hard now, basically, like, I mean, it's basically, we could go on for years type shit. We could fight this war for years. And you could tell there's some truth to what they're saying. Oh, and then the power, oh man, there's so much shit going on. It's all I'm read on, said that has appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. So he can't go beyond a set point. The Lord has flared up all his adversaries. Like it says, Jeremiah, the 50th chapter is going to be all in our speech. All right, all of it. This is the chapter. This is the chapter for today. I mean, for this event. I mean, there's plenty other chapters, but boy, this hit hard because something else just popped in mind. Jeremiah 50 and about the 8 or 9. 9. For lo, I will raise and cause to come against Babylon an assembly of great nations. So assembly, which means company, a company of great nations. Not no little clan like the Kurds and no. Great nations with great ability to do damage. The Lord's not assembling weak nations that don't have the capability. This is why, let me use the other one instead. This is beautiful. Joel 3 and 9, which is another timeless scripture. We're gonna be like we're gonna keep repeating ourselves. To proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men. NLT, say to the nations far and wide, get ready for war. Call out your best warriors. So when you hear a statement like that, man said, it said we waiting for you. You coming to their turf. And they're saying the way Persia, I'm gonna call it by its biblical name, is they have nothing but mountains surrounding it, which is logistically a nightmare to fight. All right, because you have to access all these different avenues to get there, and they have mountains that protects the area. So you could send troops and they could get slaughtered easily, not even getting into the main place. It says, let all your fighting men advance for attack. So they're daring you, they're begging you to come over there. And it says back in Jeremiah 50 and 9, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, which technically is talking about Russia. All right. Russia is just itching because the duty of Russia, all right, its sole duty is to protect Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, and so forth. Their job is to protect and to be the catapult to gather these nations together against Babylon. Remember, Babylon the Great is America. Babylon is riding the beast, which is the EU, NATO. Now, the EU, NATO, Spain is not, they're not down with this. France, they send in their carrier. French are stupid. But Spain is not even, they're not even trying to get involved. All right? They see for what it is, and which brings friction, and that's why Trump saying they're not doing no business with Spain, no trades with Spain. So it's causing friction within the fractured alliance that America America and Babylon has established together. All right, and they're saying not a Jew, he's hiding out in Germany. So he's tucked away safely. Germany, a nation where they consistently raped. So he's hiding over there, and while his people dying in Israel. So this thing is this becoming a great. And now I've been watching a lot of things that's just center around war, and you know we always had that mindset through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua because of the simple fact of why. Because we, from the moment we was woken, the Lord has been building us up to understand the times to come. All right, whether we ready or not, which when it happens because The Lord believes that we're ready. And the Lord believes that the elect, he sealed the elect, and the elect believes in him, that he's allowing the winds, the angels, to let loose those winds, those destructive winds. So collectively, as a nation, the nation of Israel, we're all coming as one and believing in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That's why he's allowing our foes, our enemies, to be pissed at each other, to go at each other's neck. And they're not playing. There's not gonna be eventually there is gonna be a ceasefire, but it's like Russia's gonna have to come in between. Because Iran is like, nah, there ain't no fucking ceasefire. We're not seizing nothing. We're not nothing, because they said that, which is believable, because you can't believe anything that Trump said. They said that Trump tried to get a ceasefire through, he said that through Italy, and Iran was like, no. Then Trump tried to save face, is like, yeah, we extended a branch to them, but they didn't want to do it. Well, how can they trust you when you did all these backstabbing moves? You did all this diabolical shit and you killed their leader. All right, the scripture says that his mouth is smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. So your evil intent has blinded you, has shown the world who you are. And this is not a good thing and everybody's saying the same thing. Everybody throughout all these different newscasts, everybody's like, yo, how can anybody do business with you or do anything when they try to sit down at the table to talk to you? You say you're going to talk to them, and then you completely renege. So you're not trustworthy. All right. So Slacky, going back to this, it says Jeremiah 59 said, for lo, I will raise a cause to come up against Babylon and a symbol of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves array against her. So the Middle East is going to be hot. All right. But something's going to happen. There's going to be points of just quietness taking place. But something's going to happen where enough, like I believe Apostle Tahar said that, like, that's why he believes that a nuke is going to hit America, and then they're going to try to, like a ceasefire, and we'll see how it works. But there's going to be a point, because the scripture says, when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction. So there's going to be a point where America is going to be completely surrounded by their foes and the submarines and so forth. All right. There's a lot of hatred that's coming towards this place. There's not going to be a thing where you can, talk your way if they invade this place, which they said there's a lot of sleeper cells anyway. So there's a lot of great, juicy, interesting things that's happening. It says, the arrow shall be as a mighty expert man, and none shall return in vain. Meaning, once they said this, the next Ayatollah, I believe is a position of Ayatollah, which is his son is far worse than the father. And then they said that he's gonna automatically get a nuke. All right, he's more extreme. So this is what you deserve. Then you're gonna be justified, but it's gonna be too little, too late. Nobody's gonna take your cause. It says, 2 Ezra 15 and 29, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots and multitude, and they shall be carried as the wind upon the earth. Sorry, 28. Behold, a horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east. So, in case you haven't know, if you don't know your your north, east, west, south, Persia's east. So this anger, this fierce anger, is awaiting, and they're gonna devour. They're gonna eat these soldiers up, man. All right. they're gonna eat you up. And Trump said that they destroyed Iran's Navy and Air Force, which is said that was the other thing too. Let me see if I can find the video real quick.
Iran is fooling the US and Israel using Tom and Jerry and Bugs Bunny-like strategies. They're using anamorphic ground paintings to deceive the US and Israeli attacks. The US has been striking drawings of F-14s this entire time the last couple days. The Iranians reportedly put their jets underground weeks before the war started. It's reported that Trump thinks that he destroyed the entire Iranian Air Force, which isn't true. We've been striking drawings, and it's honestly pretty hilarious. The IDF also released this footage claiming a strike on an Iranian Mi-17 helicopter, but the target appears to be a painted helicopter decoy on the ground, suggesting the strike likely hit a fake target rather than a real aircraft. Look how the wings weren't affected at all, and if you watch closely, it's kind of super obvious. What is interesting is we use this same strategy in World War II, using inflatable trucks and tanks to fool the Germans. Iran is fooling the US and Israel using Tom and Jerry and Bugs Bunny-like strategies.
America looked like a bunch of jackasses, straight up and down. And he swear top and bottom that he destroyed everything. Their navy, their warships, like he had the upper hand. And that's why I was listening to Scott Ritter, and something that he said makes perfect sense. So they've been waiting for this war for preparing themselves for over 21 years. So you're talking about 21 years of preparation for a supposed invasion. So if you're like the scripture says, or not the scripture, G.I. Joe knows half the battle. Well, they know your strategy because they study you. This is why sometimes not a good thing to do certain things, because people, they study. And they've been studying American strategy in war for fucking years. And if you don't believe us, just look how many wars have been taking place. Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, to overthrow these nations. All right. So everybody's looking at everything. They're studying. Just like King Jong-un. He was very wise for a young man. Why? After his father died, the threats that was coming from the United States of America was the fact that they didn't want him to have a nuclear bomb. And this is why when Trump came to office, he called him the Rocket Man, because he kept on trying. But when he finally did get the nuclear weapon, the tune changed. They're a threat, but they're not in the radar of the United States of America. You see? And we're seeing it clear as day. So it's the bully picking on the people that don't have. All right? That don't have. So if Iran is not going to get the nuclear bomb, what's the best thing they can do? I'll strategize the bully. All right? I'll strategize, and that's what they've been doing. You've been outwit your enemy, like the scripture says in Luke. I'll be back to this one. Let me just type it in. Is it 10? Is it 10,000? Luke 14:31. It says, "Or what king going to make war against another king, sitteth not down first and consulteth whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000." So let's use our brain here. What does it mean? Means you have to counsel. You have to out strategize. So if the best option is to to have peace, that would be your best option. But that peace can buy you time. Oh, let me read it in the NLT. Says, or what king would go to war against another king without first sitting down with his counselors? And they even told him, they even said it. I don't know if it leaked purposely, because there's a lot of that go on when you come to war. But the way things are going, with especially how Trump is, the past, there's a big divide in U.S. military. All right, they're not feeling them. You could feel like the morale's not there, and the morale is very important when it comes to situations like this. All right, you can go on, but the troops don't feel a purpose, a reason. It's like any man, period. They don't feel a purpose, a reason. You lost them. So when he and Pete Hegseth made those speeches and the demand of DEI and all this other shit, you got to shave off your beard. And he was taking certain people out of position of power, firing a whole bunch of generals, and all that shit adds up, yo. All that shit was adding up. So when the thing was leaked that his counselors was like, we can't, sir, we can't do this, and he did it anyway, that means that he didn't take counsel, which meaning he's proud. If you don't take counsel of people that's expert of war, who the fuck you gonna take counsels with? All right. So all the kiss asses, they fool him. Like I keep bringing it up of late, but like Ahab, the Lord sent lying spirits to his prophets. Then the one man that completely was came against him, that the Lord was dealing with, told him the truth, and Ahab never came back. All right, so it could be that one out of 400. I'll tell you the God honest truth. So the Lord set them up to be duped, to think that no matter what they can win this shit. Yeah, ultimately they drop a nuclear bomb. Yeah, that's the end of Persia, right? But then you escalated, you made things even worse. Now you're the biggest threat to the world, and everybody, all they have to do is gang up against you. That's the problem, right? It says, or what king would go to war against another king without first sitting down with his counselors to discuss Lakia, the hell, to discuss whether his army of 10,000 could defeat 20,000 soldiers marching against him, and if he can't, he will send a delegation to discuss terms of peace while the enemy is still far away. So you got to plan this shit out. So the whole time it said like Iran was willing to be at peace. They was looking for a route of peace because they know this thing was going to escalate. Now Iran is like, they going all out because they're threatened. So you cornered them, and the worst thing you could do to somebody is corner them. All right. Now that land of Israel, they might think they got the upper hand because they have this Samson thing. If somebody's going to destroy them, everybody go down with them, right? So they already have this suicidal thought. But they could beat you down so bad. Talking about Iran, Persia, they could beat them down so bad, and like people are already crying like, "You won, you won." They could beat you, they could smother you so bad, and leave you still lingering, that if you think about doing the other thing, then everybody else destroys your ass. That's how dope it is. It says, it said, where the nations of the dragon of Arabia shall come up with many chariots, multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, and they shall that all they which hear them fear and tremble. The people not fearing and tremble, but you got to recognize and respect that factor. All right. The Lord didn't call them the dragons of Arabia for nothing. Dragons are known for being for what? Ferocious. All right. Coming out, destroying everything in their sight. They're also the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as wild boars of the wood. Oh, which goes back to that's what I was thinking about. I'm sorry. I didn't want to make it this long, but hey, it's enjoyable. Let's see if I can remember. Genesis 15. Is it 15 or 16? It's Slakia. Right. Genesis 15 and 7. 16 and 7. And the angel of the Lord found her, Hagag, Abraham's concubine, by the fountain of the water in the wilderness, by fountain in the way to Shar. And he said to Hagag, Sarai, maid, whence comest thou, and whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress, Sarah. And it says, and the angel of the Lord said unto her, return to thy mistress, and submit thyself under her hands. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed. Women don't carry seed. So the seed that she had was Abraham's seed, the firstborn, which was Ishmael. I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord heard thy affliction. And he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. In other words, if somebody's that fucking wild, it's damn near impossible to beat them. So the Lord is going to bring these people back into their natural state. All this shit that's happening is going to give the world. Ishmael is going to go ape shit. Not ape shit. He's going to go, like it says, we said the Carmanian, which is Persia, Iran, rage and wrath shall go forth as a wild boars of the wood. And with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of Syria. So this shit that's happening is gonna galvanize that world of Ishmael, and they're not gonna be playing. They're not gonna be playing games. So if they're waiting for you, a lot of that first wave of people that went out there for that tour, y'all ain't coming back. B. And the second wave, which is a lot of these useless people here, y'all going. Y'all ain't coming back either. There will be bloodshed. There will be massacres. All right. Because the Lord has stirred up these nations. It says, and then shall the dragons have the upper hand. Remember their nature. And if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them. So when they get the upper hand, they will persecute your ass. So with that being said, just keep enjoying what's happening. And to Wadi Habashim Yal Shai, because these are some exciting times. Shalom to the elect in the nation of Israel. Shalom.